Several swing states have declined to remove RFK Jr. from the ballot this November, even though he's officially dropped out of the 2024 presidential race. Let's talk about exactly how that's going to impact this election cycle. As many people are aware now, RFK Jr., who was running in the 2024 election cycle as an independent candidate, has officially dropped out of the race. Now, a lot of speculation was swirling as to why he was going to drop out before he did, and that includes a video from his running mate to where his running mate Nicole Shanahan was on a podcast where she spoke about why they were thinking about potentially dropping out. This was before they actually did drop out. Here's a clip of that video.
There's two options that we're looking at, and one is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Walt's presidency because we draw votes from Trump, or we draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump, and you know, we walk away from that and we explain to our base why we're making this decision.
Now, in the beginning of the race, or the beginning of Kennedy entering the race, he had kind of made his pitch to the American people that he was going to draw votes from both Joe Biden and from Donald Trump. And at the height of his popularity, when he was polling in like the mid to high 20s, this was earlier this year, it did look exactly like that, because when you would do the head-to-head matchup of Biden v. Trump, and then you would do another poll with the exact same people, where you would add Kennedy into the mix as a third option, you did see that Kennedy was drawing from both Biden's support and from Trump's support, giving, credibility to his argument that that's exactly what he was planning on doing. However, the race dramatically changed once Joe Biden did in fact drop out. We saw a huge coalescing of the Democratic Party, for instance, around Kamala Harris. And over the last few weeks, as polls were conducted, it became more and more evident that while Kennedy was still in the race, he was largely and almost exclusively just taking votes from Donald Trump. Now, as this became apparent to Kennedy, it seemed as though he was starting to reaching out to both campaigns, both to the Trump campaign and to the Kamala Harris campaign, basically offering them the exact same thing, that he would drop out and endorse them if he got something in return, to which he even admitted to such here in this video clip.
Following my first discussion with President Trump, I tried unsuccessfully to open similar discussions with Vice President Harris. Vice President Harris declined to meet or even to speak with me.
So obviously, Donald Trump must have offered something, because at the end of the day, Kennedy did in fact drop out and endorse Donald Trump. Many are speculating that maybe he's going to be taking up the HHS secretary position, which would totally fall in line for someone kind of like him. And he has been talking a lot in recent days, since he has dropped out, about the fact that Donald Trump's going to make America healthy again, and talking about how America needs to be healthy again. So there's a lot of speculation around just that. But kind of the rub to this whole story now is that, as we've established that Kennedy being on the ballot is taking more votes from Trump, there are now several key swing states that are in fact refusing to remove him from the ballot. According to CBS News, 3 of the most prominent swing states, including Michigan, Wisconsin, and North Carolina, have declined Kennedy's request to be removed from the ballot in November. A spokesperson for the Secretary of State from Michigan didn't really offer too many details as to why he couldn't withdraw, but otherwise just saying in quotes, he cannot withdraw at this point. Other states like North Carolina said that they had a more practical reason for it, saying it would not be practical to reprint ballots that have already been printed and meet the state law deadline to start absentee voting. I guess North Carolina starts absentee voting on September 6th. So Kennedy just withdrew too late in the eyes of the North Carolina Election Commission. They just don't think they can turn it around that quickly. And Wisconsin just has a law in place basically saying that any person who files nomination papers and qualifies to appear on the ballot may not decline the nomination. The name of that person shall appear upon the ballot except in the case of the person, or in the case of death of that person. And now let's put this map up on the screen here. This is a map of basically every state in the country, whether or not RFK Jr. will be on the ballot. There's still some where he has signatures that he could be on the ballot, but it's not really a guarantee one way or the other whether he won't be. And then states where he officially will not be on the ballot. So the reason why this is becoming, I think, a necessary story to talk about is because this election really is going to be razor thin. I know that those in the Trump camp think that they're going to blow this thing out of the water. They're still living in the belief system that they were in a month and a half ago when Joe Biden was still in the race. At that point, it looked like they were going to absolutely run away with this election. I think to a degree, they still kind of are living in a massive land of cope, thinking that that's still their reality when it clearly isn't. Every poll from even places like Fox News and Rasmussen showing that Kamala Harris has in fact pulled into a dead heat with Donald Trump in basically every single swing state. This has become very apparent in the real clear polling averages that we're seeing across every single swing state, to which we're going to put these up on the screen. You can see that in every single one of the 7 swing states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, it is basically either a 1 or 2 point or even less than 1 point race in all 7 swing states. So this really is going to be a turnout / enthusiasm election. It really is going to come down to just a few thousand votes, probably in all 7 of these swing states, like it was last time around, where Joe Biden won Wisconsin by 20,000 votes. He won Georgia by 11,000 votes. He won Arizona by 11,000 votes. I mean, you just flip a few thousand votes in several states, and Donald Trump would have won last time. That's how close of a race it was. It looks like it's poised to be just like that again. And so that was also probably the calculus that RFK Jr. was thinking when he decided to drop out and endorse Trump, thinking that his endorsement might swing a few percentage points to Donald Trump, in fact, giving him an advantage over Kamala Harris. But at the same time, if he's still on the ballot in several of these states, even if he does drop out and he says that, he goes around the country parading, talking about Trump, the fact of the matter is a lot of people don't pay attention to politics that well until maybe like a few days before the election, a few weeks before the election. There's a strong chance a lot of people will show up to election day in Wisconsin, Michigan, and North Carolina, not really know what's been going on because they haven't been clued into what's going on. And they might fill in the bubble for RFK Jr. anyway. And those could be votes that might have went to Trump otherwise. Now, there's no saying, at the end of the day, if like those people would have definitely have voted for Trump. But from all the polling that we've been seeing over the months here, it does seem pretty clear that if RFK Jr. was not in the race, those people would in fact be going to Trump for the most part now. So I think that this is a pretty significant situation going on for both for Kamala Harris and for Donald Trump for 2 opposite reasons. I think this election is going to come right down to it, and something like this could end up being ultimately the difference in 3 states that might just come down to, again, just a few thousand votes to determine who's actually going to win the election in these states. Thank you for watching this video of Independent Thought. If you liked the conversation, please go ahead and give the video itself a like, and be sure to subscribe for future episodes on the channel.